Well, today I've got two jobs to do. One is change this drop link. There's a bit of, you can see it there, bit of play at the bottom. And I also need to change this brake hose. So I've slackened it off, came out no problem. It's obviously leaking the fluid now, but that's two things. So I've got two front brake pipes, and I've got a rear one, and I've got this, what do you call it, drop link. So I've got the drop link here from eBay. Shouldn't be too difficult. It's as is always the case up here in Scotland though. These nuts are always solid, so you never get the friggin' things off. But I'll see if I can get something in there to grip that and possibly take it off, but I think I'll probably have to grind it off. Well, unbelievably, that has actually started to come off, so I'm going to carry on with that and see how far I go. So that's the bottom one off. That just feels really pretty awful. That's got some play there as well at the top. So I'm going to hopefully get the mole grip onto there and get this nut twisted off. Of old versus new. What you have to be careful with the drop links for the Honda Jazz is there's actually 3 different types, and a lot of vendors will say they're suitable for whatever one, but you'll notice these are slightly offset. There's some that are like at sort of 90 degrees, and there's some I think that are straight, but you need to make sure you've got the correct part number. I'll see if I can put the part number in. Anyway, I'll just put this in place. So I mentioned about the different types of drop link. So this is one of the drop links, and as you can see, it's completely different. Absolutely completely different. So this was the one from the previous Honda Jazz, which was a 2002 model. So, I mean, if you get one of these, and some of the vendors say, oh, fits 2002 through 2008, well, you need to make sure you're getting the right one. Otherwise, you don't want to end up with something like this, which will not fit a 2006 model. And that's the model number for that one. So if you've got a 2002, maybe up to 2004, that could be the one. But if you're 2005, 2006 onwards, make sure you find out what the direction of the bolting is, because say there's 3 types. That's one of the 3. The other one is the slightly offset. Maybe it would be up here. So make sure you get the right one. The easiest drop link I've ever changed. So the nuts on this replacement one were 17mm. The original fitment were 14mm, so that's both of them nipped up. No play whatsoever. So now I need to look at the routing. It's really unfortunate this because it's a coated pipe, and the only part I really need to worry about is this length here into the flexi hose connector. But I'm probably just going to change the whole line. Look at the back one. The back one's actually not bad, but it's looking a bit kind of crusty in there, so I'll need to get this connection off, and then basically I've got to build something or shape something like this, and it shouldn't be too difficult. So I'll do this one first. I had to actually unhook this connection. That's the chopped off end. That was a real bugger, trying to get that out of this bracket. At this end, that one's okay. So that's just the one into the caliper. On this side, that was easy enough. That came out quite nicely. So now I'm going to have to remove the brake line out of there and get a length and then see about, for the first time ever, making up a brake line. That is the old brake line. I've got a reel of new copper hose. I think these are called ferrules. Obviously that's the old one. It's absolutely chewed up to buggery. You'd have to be in a really dire situation to want to reuse that. This one has got a nice 6-pointed side, so Colin has set up his device for flaring the ends. I've never done this before, but obviously I'm just going to copy what we have here. So no doubt I need to thread some of this on and then flare it at the end. So here we go. I've slipped on the ferrule there. It's clamped, a tiny little bit sticking out. I've put one on this end as well. So now I'm going to pull this thing across, line it up, and then I'm going to pull this handle, and hopefully that's it flared how it should be. Famous last words. Well, that's the first time I've ever flared a brake line, so I don't think that looks too bad. Slightly proud there. I don't know if that's exactly how it should be. So have a look at the other end. It was okay, so it should be more flat. So maybe I need to put that back in. Wherever the hell it's gone. There we go. Maybe I need to put that in and pull it over slightly further. The new brake hose fitted. I really just need to know. Well, we're not going to bore you with routing details, but that's the two new front ones. On this side, it's very short, but it's really awkward to get the thing out. It's not so bad putting the copper lines in. You can see the copper line routing there that went here. The most difficult bit is just in beyond the drive shaft, but that's all tightened up, it's all bled. So I wasn't going to bother going into details about how to fish it out because it's just very, very awkward. And make sure when you put the new brake line together, you maybe add a little inch or two or something, just so you've got something to play with, and then reroute it as you think you should. So that's it. It's now, I don't know what time it is, 10 o'clock-ish, but that's been a good probably 4 hours I've been here actually. It took quite a while. The one at the back, this was the most troublesome one, the union right in there. I had to disconnect it with a flexi hose and then connect it up and then reroute it back. But that's the easiest as far as access is concerned. But the nut at the back there, the ferrule was solid, and I basically just had to disconnect it and then get mole grips on and take it apart. But not too bad. So hopefully this has been of some help to somebody. Well, to be quite honest, I wasn't expecting any snow today, but here we are in the cold light of day, and you can see the copper brake line, the routing there better. It was about 11 something at night when I finished up the job. You can see it there, and then I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, you see it goes down there. What I would say is, I've never done a brake line before, and it wasn't that drastic, but there's roughly 7 feet of brake hose that needs to get threaded through the back of your car, or the back of the car engine bay. So if it's possible, I would recommend, again, if it's possible, if you could perhaps make a connection down there. I don't know if that'll focus. There we go. You can make a connection point down there, but the original factory pipes, you know, these metal ones, they're much harder, more rigid than the copper, so you need a special or a hardened flaring tool to do that. But as I mentioned in the earlier part of the video, I think it's this one. This is the connection for the front right wheel, or the driver's side here in the UK. It's very short, and you can see where it goes down there, but getting the factory one out was pretty bad, and then this clip, getting things into that clip was pretty hard, and you can see I've not quite got it into that one yet. I will fiddle about with that at some point and get it in, but the brakes passed, no problem. The guy said it was a very neat job, so that's not bad for a first attempt, I suppose. One thing I did notice yesterday when I got home, this side light bulb's gone out, and of course there's no access to the bulbs from the outside. So I've done this previously over in Florida. You have to undo a clip here, and then you basically, from what I recall anyway, I think you might need to take these retainers out and just kind of bring it back. So you would take out this bolt, and I think this one, and then there's one somewhere in there from recollection, and then that allows you to take the light out. But I mean, I usually praise Japanese car designs, but I don't think that's a very clever idea at all. Well, this is the back one. You can probably just see the copper line in there, which goes down to the flexi hose. Now that was a difficult part, certainly, the flexi hose, because of all the salt and the crap on the roads here in Scotland. That was difficult to get apart, but managed to do it. Another thing that flagged up in the or during the MOT was that the replaced caliper on this side, there's a handbrake mechanism, which you can see at the back, I think. It was starting to lock on slightly, and that was only replaced last year. So I contacted the vendor to say, well, you've got a 2-year warranty, I'd like it replaced. And they're trying everything to avoid replacing the caliper. Saying, oh, it's probably due to wear and tear. Well, I don't know how your handbrake mechanism suffers from wear and tear when the car's only done 6,000 miles. It's not even parked on a hill, you know, but anyway, that's a bridge yet to be crossed. But the brakes are fine. As I say, this side, the passenger side, is the worst side for the length, but the driver's side on a right-hand drive is the shortest distance, but it's the most awkward to get through. So if you can, my tip is try and connect onto something within the engine bay and just bring a short length down to the caliper. These are also new tyres that were fitted last weekend. It's ATS's home brand, I guess. Genesis high-low. I've got those on my Kia Ceed. Can't really read the writing very well, but I've got them on the back as well. where does it say? There you go, high-low. And I found them to be very good, they're great value. Anyway, enough waffling from me. I'll get this put up, and if you've got any questions, just ask.